so. We've got everybody, I think. Well, hi guys. Welcome to our Women's History Month celebration. We'll get this underway. We're going to have some great snacks afterwards. But first, I'd like to introduce you to your Illinois Controller, Susanna Mendoza.
Well, good afternoon. And thank you, Kim. Big round of applause for Kim Howard. Yes, there she is. Well, it's wonderful to see everyone. I want to welcome you here to our building. It's not super glamorous, but it does the job. And it's wonderful to have you here. For those of you who made longer trip than usual, thank you for being here. And for those of you who live in the area, welcome home, as always. But thank you for bringing your friends and your families along as well. It's always nice that this become a family affair as we celebrate Women's History Month. So thank you for being here. Now, this is one of my favorite months we celebrate because, well, girl power. But most importantly, it's a time to honor and recognize the outstanding hard work and achievements of the amazing women in the state of Illinois. Now, you are here because you are role models, leaders, and a valuable voice for our communities and, most importantly, for the vulnerable. The work that you do matters, and it makes our communities stronger and safer. Your impact resonates a whole heck of a lot more than you might think it does. Now, I'm sure that there have been times that you may have felt underappreciated because, well, you're a woman. That happens. It comes with the territory, unfortunately. Or maybe you weren't paid the same as your male colleagues, or you didn't feel seen. Unfortunately, this happens. Sometimes I say that we as women have to work twice as hard to be in the room, and 3 times as hard if you're a woman of color to be taken seriously. But once we make ourselves known, watch out. But you know, we as women, I think together, have proven that we can change things, right? We can make things better, and we can speak up. We can lead by example, and we can, most importantly, make our voices heard. I know the struggle is all too real, and I know the struggle all too well. Going up against the boys and sometimes not being taken seriously, as I said. But you know what? You just can never give up. I started playing soccer when I was very, very young, about 7 years old, going on 8. And I quickly became the only girl on an all-boys team, on multiple all-boys teams growing up as a kid. And when I got to high school, my high school didn't have a girls' soccer team. I'm dating myself because everyone has a girls' soccer team now. But I didn't let that stop me. We fought to get a women's soccer team, and it was at my high school, my sophomore year, that Bolingbrook High School was able to get their very first women's soccer team. So when there's an obstacle in the way, you got to figure out how to get around it or over it, but get it done. And that fight that I had in me growing up helped to keep me motivated as I was elected the youngest member at the time in the 92nd General Assembly and became the first woman city clerk of Chicago, and now the first independently elected Hispanic, male or female, but it's awesome that it's a girl, as in the statewide office and obviously as your state controller. And I don't say this to brag about me, but I hope it can inspire other women to also go for it. You know, it's really nice to be the first in many instances, but it's even better to be the first of many. And so I do want women to look at other women, see themselves reflected in other women, and not let anything stop them from pursuing their dreams. But today is certainly not about me, it's about you. It's about you and your amazing accomplishments. So I'd like to start by telling the folks here a little bit about each of our honorees. And then we're going to have you come up, we'll take a photo, and say a few words. But Kim, where is our photographer?
Right here.
Okay, it's going to be you? All right, so you're going to come over here. I need you over here. I'm going to lay the ground rules here. Have you stand, Kim. Yeah, where's Eric? Can we find out where Eric is? Yeah, thanks. And then maybe stand right there at that chair when it's time to take the photo. And then we're going to come over here and line up, and you're going to line up to get that perfect shot. All right? Perfect. All right. And then once we're done taking the photo with each individual honoree, the honoree will walk up to the podium and say a few words. So I'm sure you can all handle it because you're all amazing women. Okay, so let me start. Our first honoree is Rebecca Hooks, the first Deputy Director of the Illinois State Police. So Rebecca Hooks currently serves as the first Deputy Director of the Illinois State Police, responsible for the entire operations of the agency. What's truly incredible is that she is the first female to serve in this position in the history of the Illinois State Police. Congratulations. Yes. Now, First Deputy Director Hooks has more than 22 years of experience as an ISP officer. She currently oversees more than 1,800 sworn officers and 950 civilian employees who work to keep the residents of Illinois safe. She's the highest-ranking sworn officer in the agency, accountable for directing the department's $923 million budget and department missions. Rebecca graduated from Eastern Illinois University with a Bachelor of Science degree in zoology and chemistry, and then worked full-time as a forensic autopsy assistant for several years. To date, she has assisted in over 2,000 forensic autopsies. In 2002, she joined the Illinois State Police and worked on patrol. A few years later, she was transferred to the Scene and Evidence Services Command in Sterling, where she was assigned as a crime scene investigator. And wow, did your star rise quickly. Promoted to sergeant in 2011, followed by promotions to master sergeant, lieutenant, and eventually captain in 2020, serving as the statewide commander of the Scene and Evidence Services Command. From there, Rebecca was appointed to lieutenant colonel of Division of Forensic Services, overseeing about 400 forensic scientists, and I bet that chemistry degree came in handy there. Also evidence technicians, and she oversaw other staff as well. In 2022, she was appointed to serve as Chief of Staff in the Office of the Director, responsible for the administration and management of the many Illinois State Police bureaus. She was appointed by Director Brendan Kelly to serve as First Deputy Director in 2023. And Brendan Kelly's a good guy, and obviously he's a smart one. Now, First Deputy Director Hooks certainly continued her education throughout her career, receiving credentials as a certified crime scene investigator and a certified bloodstain pattern analyst. She's also a graduate of the Illinois Governor's Office Academy of Leadership and the FBI National Executive Institute. Now, Rebecca, your background and career is certainly remarkable and something for young women seeking to enter the law enforcement profession to really emulate. So thank you for being there. I am sorry that it took so long to get someone with your qualifications and your passion and your drive into that position of real leadership. But think about how awesome of a barrier you have broken for all the other super great women who are also part of the Illinois State Police, who now can see themselves reflected in you and hopefully someday in the top job as well. Please come up. We'll take a picture, say a few words, and I'm going to hand you your certificate. And then tilt it down a little bit so we don't get a glare. And then look at
right over here, guys. Very nice. Beautiful. Thank you.
Excellent. Then please.
Good afternoon. And I would just like to say thank you to the comptroller very much. I'm very fortunate and very honored to receive this award and just thankful. And much like the building, she said about the building, I'm not glamorous, but I know how to get the job done. So it's helped, and I will say that what we found with the ISP is diversity has been a strategic advantage for our agency. And we've found that we are the best as an agency, and we found the best way to move forward is really to embrace that various skill sets and the various abilities and the various training and the various experiences, and it helps us represent the communities that we serve. And I'm very thankful to Director Kelly to have this opportunity. And growing up, I grew up in a law enforcement family, So this was very natural to me to go into the field. And I will say it's still a very male-dominated field. And we're trying to fix that. We're trying to change it. But I remember when I told my dad I wanted to be a police officer, he said, "You got to go to state." He said, "There's going to be great opportunities for you." And I lost my father last year to cancer. So he was very proud, and I think of him often, and I'm thankful that I had that opportunity to be the daughter that he deserved. And I thank you very much for this, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, First Deputy Director Hooks. Your dad, for sure, so proud of you. I'm proud of you for being able to even talk about your dad, having lost him a year ago, and not totally lose it. I lost my dad in 1995, and I typically lose it whenever I bring him up. So I can only imagine how proud he is of you, and it's so exciting that he got to see you achieve so many of these milestones over your life. So you're lucky to have him. He was lucky to have you as a daughter, and we're very blessed to have you in a leadership position here, keeping our people of Illinois safe. So thank you for all you do. Okay, moving on to our next honoree. We get to honor Rachel Jackson, the founder of Project Compassion. She started this and founded this Project Compassion at the ripe old age of 25. Since 2005, the not-for-profit has assisted more than 200,000 homeless, disadvantaged, and low-income men, women, and children with food, shelter, seasonal supplies, hygiene items, life skills workshops, and vocational training. Rachel opened the Compassionate Resource Center in Belleville in 2011 and led the charge in her organization, receiving a proclamation from the mayor of Belleville declaring October 29th Compassion Day in the city. That's beautiful. Now, when times are especially tough, Rachel swiftly takes action. During the 2020 pandemic, Project Compassion implemented Mealtime, providing hot meals to 15,000 families and partnering with 15 community organizations and churches to feed over 30,000 individuals and families. She's also launched the first self-esteem and self-worth program called Empower Me in St. Clair County, working with school districts to inspire youth and girls by building beauty from the inside first, character building, and continuing education. Rachel is the host of the Girls on Purpose Tour. For all of this hard work, Rachel has received several awards, including the Barack Obama Silver Presidential Award for her community service, the George H.W. Bush Daily Point of Light Award. Check out that bipartisanship. She appeared on the Tyra Banks Show and accepted the Secret Deodorant Strong Enough for a Woman Award. And that's funny because I have some on right now. Yes. The Powerful Difference Award by ABC Radio and Pine. And she was recognized in the 2014 L'Oreal Paris' Women of Worth campaign. Wow. Rachel, I'm so glad that you are working to empower our kids, feeding the homeless, and providing so much needed community services. And you have been honored multiple times, once again today. And you, I will tell you, clearly have been noticed. Your work has been noticed, and it is truly appreciated. Now, as for her background, Rachel's a licensed professional counselor, holds a bachelor's degree in business administration, a master's in professional counseling, and is a certified master trainer in life skills and self-esteem. She's also a certified civil and divorce mediator and is working towards her PhD in forensic psychology. Rachel, please come up for some photos, and we'd love to hear what inspired you to start Project Compassion.
Thank you guys so much. Good afternoon. It is always so humbling to hear that because it doesn't feel like I've done all of that. I think when you get in and it's like, I'm not 25 anymore, I often tell people before all of the accolades and the titles and the recognitions, I was 19 years old looking for my own place in the world. I buried my mother at the age of 19 after she battled with cancer for 8 years. I suddenly went from being 19 free and fun to trying to figure out how to adult through life. I began to navigate through 4 years of what I still say was one of the darkest times of my life. And through that, I found not only my purpose, but I found my calling. After 4 years and being a single mother of a now 23-year-old, oh my goodness, I saw a man sleeping in a box one day. And it was something about seeing him sleep in a box and me leaving the comfort of my own home just didn't sit right with me. And I often tell people it was for the first time in 4 years of losing my mother that I felt something for somebody else. And the only thing I could say is it was compassion. I did not want that man in that box. Now, he wasn't going home with me. But I didn't want him in the box. And so I realized that one of my superpowers was connecting my family, my friends. They would always come out and support and do things. So I wrote them all letters and said, let's feed the homeless. Help me provide meals. And the goal was 1,000. And I know it was 1,000 because you could not walk out that door till we counted 1,000 sandwiches. From there, we grew and began to impact. And really what I started to develop was things that I needed. Things that probably would have helped me not take such a long road in life to get to where I wanted to be. So I developed Project Compassion not only for intervention, but for prevention. And even though the waves of support come, there's still waves where it just does seem like people have forgotten. But that's not why we do it. That's not why I do it. I don't do it for the change. I do it for the change I want to see. To my family, thank you all. My kids literally didn't go to school. Don't run that. They all called in today. But thank you for sacrificing yourself. All of my children have grown up and watched their mother serve the community. And then this guy fell in love with me 3 years ago and married me, and he's right there doing it. And I would be remiss Project Compassion will turn 20 years old on October 29th. And that is literally half of my adult life. But my first volunteer to come, my last volunteer to leave is my Aunt Marilyn. Aww. She is the backbone of when I'm pregnant, sick, tired. She's 67 but looks amazing. But she has partnered and journeyed with me through this journey. And so anytime I'm recognized for the name and the face, I ensure that she's there for the honor. Thank you so much.
Aunt Marilyn. Aunt Marilyn. Wow, what a rock star, huh? So I think you have to come back up with Aunt Marilyn, and we're going to take a picture there together because you are like the secret weapon. Bring your award, too. Let's hear it for Aunt Marilyn.
He's first.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
Right here, guys. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and last but certainly not least, we have Charlene Walsh. Now, Charlene Walsh is a 56-year-old warrior, a warrior for animals. After working for the state of Illinois for 32 years as a facilities manager, retirement has definitely kept her on her toes. Charlene never stops her activism, passion, and caring for the animals that she saves and the humans attached to almost every situation she encounters. Her degree from SIU Carbondale in animal science has been helpful in her role as a trapper of lost dogs, a current humane investigator with Wild Canine Rescue in Springfield, and formerly as an equine humane investigator at the Illinois Department of Agriculture. Charlene is on the boards of Wild Canine Rescue here in Springfield and their new charity store, Wild Thrift and Sniff, which I hear has some amazing stuff. Now, she proclaims daily that she will never have anything because she gives it all away. That certainly seems to be the case. I mean, listen up. It's going to blow your mind. As Charlene has spent much of her time helping with hurricane relief efforts after disasters like Katrina, Harvey, and most recently in North Carolina after Hurricane Helene. There, she organized a drive for necessities and took a semi-trailer to one of the most devastated areas. On her second trip to North Carolina, she donated her bus to a young woman who had lost her home and was living in her car with 7 dogs. On her third trip, she donated a car to a relief worker and vet tech who had been helping people in the area find their animals that had been lost during the storm. Charlene's work and generosity come with her own flair, and she believes that well-behaved women rarely make history. She plans to continue to dedicate herself to being a disruptor in the animal rescue arena, educating the public on the importance of spaying and neutering pets, and making pets a lifetime commitment. And last but not least, we cannot forget Wanda. Wanda is Charlene's true inspiration in spreading love and commitment in the animal rescue world. If you've ever met the two of them, you know Wanda is the brains and the heart of the duo. And Charlene is the one with the strong back and the potty mouth. Please come up, Charlene and Wanda. We have certificates for both of you. Where's Wanda? So Charlene, this one's for you. Awesome. And this one's for you. Belly wrap? Oh, yes. That's the true prize. It's the belly wrap. Yes, there we go. She's a good girl. That's for her. Awesome. Let's come get in the photo. Come on. All right, here you go. Here, let's put her down. Can you get that?
Or she can come up, whichever you prefer.
Hey, Wanda.
Hey, Wanda, come here. Come here.
This one's yours. That one's yours.
Can you lay down?
Yeah, right here. I got you.
There we go.
And then like put this here.
There we go. Nice. Very nice. Nice job, Mom.
All right.
Thank you.
Good girl.
All right, please.
Thank you.
Oh, we got this one. Sorry. I think we had the wrong awards.
Oh, no.
We had the wrong awards on the thing.
That's okay. We'll
It's all
sort it
good.
out. Thank you very much, Comptroller,
Oh, no, my pleasure.
and thank all of you. I am not nearly as eloquent of speaker as these two beautiful ladies, and my accomplishments do not match theirs. But I am.
Commanded to take care of this.
I do appreciate it, and they're not wrong in that my heart belongs to the dogs, cats, any animal, anything with 4 legs. I'm a fighter. I am a worker. There's probably not too much on the guy side of things that I can't figure out. I can do a transmission. I can build a house. I can't sew on a button to save my life. But I am a hard worker. I try. I always look at it from the animals side of things. Every day there is a rescue somewhere going. I have 2 going right now. I am after a dog that has been lost. I've been 2 nights now locally, and on my way here to change clothes out of trap and clothes, I come across 2 of, I think it's probably a father and his pup running down South Grand that what am I going to do with you guys? So I look around, and just so happens that in this neighborhood I was, some community organization, it's so new the concrete still has forms on it. They haven't named it or anything, but it's a fenced-in area, and I threw those 2 dogs in there. The pup was so small it could fit through the rungs on the fence. So I put a leash on him and tied him to a park bench within the fence and called animal control and said, hey, can you help me out and go pick up these dogs? But this overpopulation problem is an ongoing problem, and I don't know how it's going to get any better until we educate people. I don't understand why it's so hard for people to realize how easy it is to try and slow the process down, but they're just not getting it. So if you can, anything you can take from here, it's when you hear people saying, I'd like to get a new dog, suggest to them, hey, how about a rescue or a shelter? Try and steer them away from the breeders, because as long as the breeders keep having buyers, they're going to continue to breed. And when those people do say they're going to get a new dog, beg them to get them spayed and neutered, because there's just plenty of dogs, roaming the earth right now that it's going to take us to try and educate them and try and slow it down. But my heart belongs to these animals. I live and die for them. And although I can be a little on the abrasive side, you couldn't carry my heart if you took it out of my chest. It's where it belongs. But thank you all very much.
Thank you. Charlene, here's your award. See, she's hugging off with Wanda's. But we actually partner with the animal rescue, like a ton of different animal rescue organizations across Illinois. We have a wild canine rescue being one of them, but we have a program called Controllers Critters. And we have been able to match, fur babies that don't have a home with forever homes. I mean, a couple thousand of them since we initiated the program when I took office. It used to be Judy Bartopinka's program. And then when she passed away, the next controller got rid of it, but then we brought it back. And it has been so helpful in literally it does things like save people's lives. We have, through that program, actually partnered with banks who have invested in turning some of those adoptees into service animals. And they have allowed people like veterans who had massive traumatic PTSD, who would never leave their homes, who were suicidal, in fact. They've shared these stories with us. We've done like days where it's for veterans specifically, where they partner with these organizations and they pick an animal that speaks to them. And then it's about 5,000, maybe a little bit more, but a bank has sponsored that specific animal to become a service animal, only for that vet. And those vets have then come around and said, this animal saved my life. I never would have left my house, but I wanted this so bad. But then after that, once the animal was trained, the animal became like the lifeline for that veteran. And it's amazing to hear these stories that you would think, this little dog could have been euthanized, but not for this program, and not getting that dog who didn't have a home to now have a home and have a purpose and give that veteran a purpose to continue fighting and continue living, right? So it's a beautiful thing whenever we can pair these animals up with a forever home, but it's not good just for the animal. Sometimes it means that much more to the human behind it. So thank you for what you do. You're saving these little fur babies, but you're also saving people's lives. It's not just their lives you're saving. And so I can't thank you enough for that. And people say, yeah, for sure. Why should the controller's office care about pets? Or, why should we have a controller's critters program? What does that do for the finances? What does it have to do with finances? But I think anywhere we can save money and we can save lives is a good thing. And the less animals we have to euthanize, or the less animals we have to have housed up waiting for a forever home, that means the less municipal resources are being utilized to have to keep these animals fed, or even worse yet, the expensive chemicals or the things needed to put them down. And so I do think maybe it's not direct state dollars that we're helping save, but anytime we can have municipalities spend less, that's more taxpayer money that they get to spend on really good positive things that people need as well. So there's always a nexus, everything. As you know, there's no free lunch, everything costs money, and I enjoy kind of being a fiscal hawk and making sure that we're using it as best as possible. All right, so thank you so much. Let's give another round of applause to our 3 honorees today. I really, truly enjoyed meeting all of you, hearing your stories, your words of encouragement, and I ask you to just keep doing this great work and keep being a positive reminder to the next generation that women can indeed reach their dreams. You are a living embodiment of that, and it may take women sometimes a little bit longer to achieve these big things. We definitely have a lot more of a road to have to hoe together, but we can do it. We know what it is to work hard. We know what it is to multitask. We know what it is to be juggling a million things at once and still looking fabulous. And so I know that when we set our mind to it, we can achieve anything that we want to do and do it bigger and better than anyone else. Eric, what does little Kingsley say? Eric's daughter, Kingsley, says, there's nothing that
A man can do that a woman can't do better.
Yes. Little Kingsley says there's nothing that a man can do that a woman can't do better. And she is all of 10? just turned 11. Yeah, she's brilliant. So in any event, I'd like to thank you all for being here and just ask you to come up. We're going to do another round of photos for our honorees. If you would like to invite anyone to be in the photo with you that came with you today. But I'd like to, before we do that, take one shot with all of our honorees. And then I'm going to stick around and take photos with whoever wants to take photos with their friends or family. And then I'm going to encourage you to enjoy the delicious food that we have for you. We've got some really good delicious bites from a woman-owned business, Emerald Eats, here in Springfield. They're a catering company, and they do amazing, amazing bites. So I encourage you, if you're from the Springfield area, check out Emerald Eats, female-owned, and we are here to celebrate the girls this month, so thank you.